Hello everybody! The heatwave in Germany is still going strong, and so is the Heroes of the Storm content on the channel here. We have another best of 3 today, and it is a Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier match. We have a game between Puszek team and also Roccat, and well, the reason why we're having this qualifier in the first place is that Fnatic is not able to attend Dreamhack Valencia, and therefore we have 4 teams fighting for that last slot. And right now our first map is Sky Temple between Puszek team, the Polish team, and Team Roccat, and we already have a couple of adjustments here, since Puszek team is running this with an Arthurs as a solo hero here. So the Lich King is back, and we are also seeing in the mix Tassadar, who is of course going to be able to make him a bit more tanky. It's a pretty interesting series that we have there, so guys, get ready for a cool game. We have Sky Temple, our first member in the best of 3, and we're going to jump into it right away.
Alright boys and girls, welcome everybody to game number 1 here on Sky Temple at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier. We're currently having Puszek team up against Roccat on game number 1 in the best of 3 series. To the left side of the map it is the Polish team with Ibrahim on Sylvanas, we have Khaldor on Jaina, Puszek on Tassadar, that guy on Malfurion, Go Terror on Arthurs. And their opponents to the right side, there we have Shadowma on Rega for Team Roccat. We see Zog on Murden, Sportbillion on Nuburak, Chris on Kalthas, and Hazorps on Zagara. As you could already hear, I'm not alone today. Nope, we're going to bring you the coverage with the duo stream here. Welcome Tetcher to the stream. And yeah, let's hope for a cool series between these two.
Yep, hoping so. And this is my new time seeing the new Arlie overlay interface as well. Looks really good.
Yeah, it actually looks quite nice, and yesterday I still made the mistake that I chose the wrong one for like a second, then you had all these new roll icons in the middle of the screen, which looked a little bit funny.
That. Like, I cast one game on the PTR on the day it came out, and I was like, why do I have just a hand stapled in the middle of my screen? It was was less than ideal, but for now, we can see that Puszek team just going with the 3-man top lane, and we're seeing Roccat respond to that, sending up Kalthas and Shadowmare to meet up with Soke so that they can clear the wave pretty quickly, so Sylvanas doesn't get too much done.
As expected, we're also seeing Zagara down to the bot lane in this case now. Puszek on his Tassadar is trying to meet that onslaught. Tassadar, of course, going to be great with the Oracle against the Creep Tumors, trying to keep the lane clear. The first 2 temples that are going to spawn on this map are the mid temple and the top temple. This is the ones that they are going to focus upon. And in terms of like talents, there have of course been a lot of changes, and in the case of Malfurion, that means that we are seeing Moonburn with increased damage to minions and mercenaries, which was a talent that has been taken yesterday quite a bit as well.
Yeah, but by 100% makes it pretty effective. We're seeing Murden getting rooted here. He's going to jump out. Took quite a lot of Blizzard, but he is able to escape, and he's just going to start passively regenerating. Looks like he will Fountain, though, to make sure he is completely healthy for these temple fights.
Yeah, and at the same time now in the mid lane we're having the 2 tanks going up against each other. Of course we're seeing a double tank lineup on the side of Roccat, but Go Terror and Sportbilly on Nuburak and Arthurs are currently having some fun here. The temple in the mid lane is by now captured by Roccat, which means that the top temple should be taken by the Polish team, and they're already moving in for that, going straight on it with Malfurion doing his job here, and the rest of the team, Khaldor and Ibrahim, are keeping Chris on his Kalthas at bay.
Yeah, Malfurion can actually do this now. You're seeing he is actually able to do some damage to that Temple Guardian now with this new talent. So he is able to actually not get completely wrecked anymore.
We're having him on level 4, also with the Loon's Grace right now, which seems to become the standard talent on level 4 for most of the builds that we're seeing on Malfurion right now. Just the increased range on all of his basic abilities is pretty nice to have. There's also a bit more of a shift on Jaina towards the Snowstorm just recently. Arcane Intellect was for the longest time the go-to talent. We had still Snowstorm taken occasionally, but it has become a bit more. They're moving in again into the mid-temple right now with a 4 versus 3 at least for now. Zoko already moving back on his Murder, is getting really low, but Chris already there with another Flame Strike and Living Bomb, trying to force the Polish team back.
Yep, Flame Strike was pretty good, really dropping Jaina quite low. She is going to be making her way down to the bottom lane at the moment. Going to see if she can try and catch Zagara here, but Zagara already backed up to a safe position, so nothing too bad there. But it's giving Tassadar some time to go back and get some health and mana.
One of the things that I quite find interesting is that we are having so many different approaches to Nuburak now. Of course, the last patch also changed the beetles in general. They're not as fast as they were before, and they do a bit less damage. So most of the players are starting to shift away from the full beetle build, but we're still seeing this hybrid on Sportbilly now, with extended range on his Impale on level 1, then the beetles on level 4, and on level 7 it's probably going to be the Bed of Barbs to just give you more control with Impale in those team fights.
Yeah, and I really like running at least the passively spawning beetles on Nubarak, especially against the Jaina, because the fact that the beetles can block her frostbolt, and that is one of the most frustrating things. We're going to see a Nubarak get rooted here, but he's just going to counter-attack on Goterra here, and Goterra being dropped really low quite quickly. We're seeing Sylvanas come in though, looks like she's going to attempt to join in. Arthas is already backed away, he's pretty safe, and Venom comes down from the Sylvanas. There's the Haunting Wave, but the knock-up to stop her teleporting, and the heal from the Rhaegar. Nubarak gets out.
Wow, I was actually just about to say that Nubarak basically doomed himself by using his burrow charge to go in against Arthas just as Sylvanas came around the corner and tried to drop him. But that last second heal from Rhaegar was exactly what kept him alive there, so very well done. One of the things that we also see in game now is of course a big change to the healers. We have now on all of them Cleanse, and that is something that Malfurion took immediately. On this map I could have also seen them go for, well, a Mule, but we have Static Charge on the side of Tassadar and Cleanse on the side of Malfurion, so no Mule for Puszek team. The Polish team saying, nope, we don't need this, we're gonna focus on the team fights and not on rebuilding our structures.
Yep, and Malfurion actually, I think, probably has one of the strongest level 7s in the game now in terms of options. He has the option of the Cleanse, the increased duration on his heal, which is amazing, and the Mule. He has so many good options.
Yeah, he definitely does. And in this case, now we are seeing Roccat moving towards the temple. But first, we have Jaina still soaking a bit of experience in the mid lane. The level 7 talent on the side of Muradin, who went for the Thunderclap build, was piercing Bo3. He's trying to get the extra stance during the team fights, and there we have it in play already. But it's Rhaegar who needs to move back first. Extremely low on the hero right now. Tassadar in the same boat, though, and Craig, who is trying to move in up from the top as with a bit of a flank, and drops the first target, kills 2, takes down Khaldor as well. They lose Tassadar in the process, though, but it's another counter kill. A 1-for-3 in this situation, with Kreku just barely escaping with basically no hit points whatsoever.
Yeah, very, very well played there by a team of Puszek, and they will be taking control of this temple for a little bit with the help of Sylvanas. Zagara, though, still hanging around here, needs to be careful not to get caught out for now. Just going to be helping Shadowmare clear the wave and throw down a Hunter Killer onto Sylvanas, but not going to charge in, does not want to get rooted by that Arthas.
That's the type of Arthas that I actually like, trying to go for the root against the Hunter Killer so that he can't follow you. That's the support that I want to have in my game. I hate Hunter Killers, I really hate
Hunter Killer is so horrible, especially when it gets upgraded to Mule and can follow you over walls.
Yeah.
That's when it gets really annoying.
It's super annoying, and it's just like, it always feels like mine don't do damage, but the opponents always chase me down like 6 days to Sunday. It's really a pain. Syndragosa is one of the talents that we're having now taken on level 10, so Arthas, even though he is the only tank for his team, not even bothering with going into Army of the Dead, but it is Syndragosa. Captain Hitsugaya would be proud. And we're seeing to the right side of the team once again for Nubarak, the Web Blast. And I mean, that's a pretty cool talent to take if you're running a double warrior lineup anyways. You don't need as much tankiness and survivability as if you would be the solo tank for your team.
Yeah, there are many good targets for that Web Blast. Can easily zone someone out, can remove their healer, make it really easy to wipe out either of those two assassins and remove the front line, or get rid of one of the front line. You can even, if you can time it right, Web Blast the Sylvanas to prevent her from detonating her Wailing Arrow, and just watch it sail off into the distance. Here comes the 4-med into the mid lane, forcing Sportsbilly to back up. He does not want any of that.
Even though we have the Butcher currently banned out globally since he's just too new, normally for the first week after the patch hits the new hero is banned out, it's still interesting that one of his heroic abilities that chains you to a post can be cleansed out. I found that quite funny because, well, it just feels like it's so annoying, you know, when you're trapped by it, and if somebody with a cleanse is around, it's amazing. But right now we're having another trap. We're seeing Web Blast being used, but Uberim immediately being moved out of the Web Blast. Everybody was attacking it. Trying to get away here, but the kill against the Nubarak, and it looks like they're going to try and turn it around against Muradin now as well.
Muradin getting out as quick as he can. Rhaegar hanging around trying to heal, but it's too late. Now Chris being dropped low as well. Central healing will land this time. Did not work so well for Nubarak, but it's not enough. Chris gets envenomed, and the Blizzard will finish him off. Shadowmare, only one to get away. He will just be moving down towards Zagara so that he can help defend her when the blue team inevitably comes down to gank.
That fight definitely did not go the way that Roccat wanted it to. We have now a solid lead of nearly 2 level, well 1.5 on the side of Puszek team, and that also means that they have the level 13 talent so much faster. Both of the healers not only going for cleanse on level 7, but by now we have the life seed taken on Malfurion, which is of course an absolutely amazing talent if you don't feel that you need the stability of going into an ice block to save your ass. So right now, solid decision here, and even even a Shrink Ray on 13 on the side of Tassadar to make one of those, yeah, well, to actually like mitigate some of the damage that is going to come out from one of those two tanks that jump your backline. The bottom fight is about to happen as Tassadar is already claiming the temple in the mid lane.
Yeah, and you mentioned Icebox. We also do not see an Ice Block out of Jaina, or a Sprint, in fact. No defensive talents at all. Instead, going for the Icy Veins, because she's taken none of her talents that help her out with mana, no Arcane Intellect, and no Conjurer's Pursuit, so relying purely on Icy Veins to keep her sustained.
Yeah, with Jaina, didn't she actually lose Sprint in the last patch?
I think she did, actually, yeah.
That was actually interesting to see. Like, a lot of the heroes that we had Sprint on in the past lost the talent by now.
Yeah, this is true. The most memorable one of those being Uther, because that was definitely one of the coolest things in the game, but also one of the most ridiculous, the sprint into Divine Storm.
Yeah, Divine Storm was not used ever since then. Well, not quite. You see it every now and then when you want to have like one of those CC chains on your team, but definitely it sees a lot less play now that we are having no sprint available on the hero any longer. But Divine's shield makes up for that quite well, I think.
Yep, I would agree. It's definitely pretty effective at doing its job. For now, both teams just playing a bit passively. Neither one looks like they want to really heavily engage the other. And Roccat, bit on the back foot here. They are the ones who seem to be playing the avoid strategy the most right now.
As long as they're trying to capture the temples out, I guess they can really make something happen. And it's a gutsy boss call that we're seeing from them. But the problem is that Arthas is standing in the bush on his Wonder Billy. Can they be there in time, though? It looks like they will.
Coming in, the boss stun's gonna catch out 3 members. That social healing went down. Web Blast has got one of them. The Devouring Maw, though, catches 3. Silence is used on the Kael'thas. Boss is dead. Everyone's standing on the point. In comes Goter. He's gonna tank it, and they're gonna steal it. Puszek steal the boss. Roccat in full retreat, but down goes Kael'thas. We're gonna see Zagara go down, and once again, Shadowmare only one to escape. Puszek take the boss, only lose 1 member, and kill 4 members of Roccat.
Wow, really, really well done there on the side of Puszek team. And I guess in this situation, Malfurion would have been very happy about an ice block. Everybody else ended up in that maw, and Malfurion was alone on the spot. He was like, guys, can somebody help me?
Where'd you go? What happened?
Nobody could. He died, but the rest of the team, of course, annihilated what was left of Roccat, and now there's another temple up on the top lane that they can take down. This is going to be, I mean, this is like dire straits here for Roccat.
Yep, they're in some serious trouble. Trying to regroup right now, clearing the bottom lane for that from that easy camp. Like you said, Puszek in pretty much full control. They're going to basically get all of this top temple, unless Roccat are able to get an insane fight. But it's so risky for them to go in when they are that talent down.
Exactly, it's 3 levels, and they have that extra talent that they're missing now, so they really, really need to start farming before they can fight with their opponent here. And on level 16 we have a Cold Embrace. Blood for Blood is a bit weaker than it was in the previous patch. It's still pretty good. It's an extra healing potion if you so want for your hero, but doesn't do as much burst damage against the opponent as it did before. What we also see is Tenacious Roots in this case, and of course Arthas went for Stone Skin. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he didn't go for Relentless on level 13, but went for Biting Cold with the increased damage on the Frozen Tempest. It's pretty cool to have that in a team fight, I suppose, but this stun is really annoying. I mean, we have quite a bit of CC on the side of the opponent's team, so having that Relentless just always feels like such a blessing in team fights.
Yeah, very much so, but choosing to forego it, like you said, just purely relying on the extra damage. There are quite a lot of people on the front line, because Rhaegar has to stay quite close to the front line as well if he wants to auto-attack at all. And most of them are going to be running into Arthas, who does take a Flame Strike, but at this point is so tanky and has his Rune Tap. Just immediately heal back to full.
They are starting to move into the mid lane right now. They definitely want to drop a keep here if they can, as long as they are ahead in talents. So they're moving straight in, and Roccat is just trying to delay for as long as they possibly can to just get that 16 talent. We're probably going to see Rhaegar with that heal here. He could also go for the Earthburst Totem on the other hand, so he has a couple of options here on 16. New Rhaegar looks actually very, very interesting to me, and there it is. Doesn't go for the cooldown reduction on the chain heal, but instead for the Earthgrasp Totem. The Totem in general is just a bit faster right now. It spawns faster and also disappears faster, fades away a little bit faster. It seems to be looking quite interesting on how to use it. It just doesn't feel as sluggish as it did before.
Yeah, this is very true. It works very differently. Other than that, we see pretty much standard talents from everyone to pre-patch and post-patch. We have the Stone Form on the Muradin, the extra tankiness, the Blood for Blood on the Nubrak. Like I said, more of a heal ability now, but still pretty effective. We have the Ignite on Kael'thas as very usual, and the Brood expansion on Zagara for those double Mutalisks.
I personally found it very interesting that Blizzard didn't change anything about Ignite here and did not really reduce the damage on those living
I would agree
bombs.
so much.
Because
that is one of the weirdest things.
I mean, you have to be careful that you do not nerf it too much, you know, that you don't make the hero useless. But in this case, just a bit of a reduction would have already been an amazing change, as is, though, Khaldor still one of the #1 damage dealers, especially when it comes to the mages. He is using that Phoenix for the zoning, and now with the 16 talent, Roccat finally feels confident to attack, but there are 2 temples on the map, and we have level 19 versus 16. Here comes Syndragosa, they're trying to go in for the kill, and they're going straight for Malfurion. The Root or the Malmor once again getting a hero. Here comes the Silence out as well. They're going straight for the backline on the side of Roccat and trying to kill Mirrodin off as well.
Great positioning from Sylvanas here, was using her Q from the top there, and the Flame Strike on 4 members there. They're continuing to chase though. Puszek do not care, they're taking so much damage here, but they're continuing to push through. And Roccat, unable to hold the line there, have to pull back to their base.
And we have still those 2 temples up. It's a 5 versus 3 situation with level 20 soon to be reached by the Polish team. They are doing extremely well here, and I don't really think that Roccat was expecting this much resistance by the opponent. Puszek is not a bad team by any means, but if you look at the recent past, and we had Roccat with absolutely amazing results, and Puszek team, even though on the rise, were just not on the same level just yet. But in this case, they are doing very well here, and they have an absolutely solid lead. I mean, a 3-level lead on level 20. That's not bad at all, and of course something has to be done. Roccat needs to take a chance, even though they are behind in talents. They're trying it at the top lane, but Hazorp's already dying. They're going straight for Dasra. Here comes also a Web Blast, but in this case it looks like with Zocca and Shadowman appearing, they might be able to get a kill in, but nope, it is a Nubarak that dies first, and now it's just a cleanup job. But an amazing Ancestral Heal!
The Ancestral Heal and the Flame Strike, but it's not enough. Jaina coming in from the bottom. Shadowmare being chased away by Gotera, who just won't die. And down goes Rhaegar. We do see the Kael'thas get away, but he has to retreat to a base that is pretty much gone and is now in a really tough position. He's the only one who can defend. Almost got a couple kills there with a great Flame Strike, but just not enough at this point.
That was actually an amazing fight there, and it was so close. I mean, did you see Sylvanas moving away with, like, yeah. I didn't even see the hit point bar any longer. That was just crazy. Perfect timing to move back once again down at the bot lane. They're going straight for Chris. Chris, the only, oh my god, the only one who had a chance to maybe do something about that core attempt. But of course, that is nothing that he can do any longer. Here comes once again Syndragosa, and goodbye Roccat. First game taken by Puszek team. The Polish team in the lead in the best of 3 series here at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier.
Puszek team all of a sudden in the lead here in the best of 3 series. The Polish team taking the game, and they played really well here. That Arthur's combination worked out for them, and of course the most impressive thing here was definitely that steal of the boss, as Roccat said, alright guys, we have to do something, let's go for us right now. And at the same time then Arthur was just sitting in the bush and was saying like, alright, if you want to take it, I'm going to be there. Syndragosa comes in, and then they win the team fight as well. Extremely well played there by Puszek team. So Roccat a bit unfortunate of course as well, and I think they are a bit surprised because they were going into this series as definitely the favorite. Puszek team, we've heard of them, we've seen their matches in the past, but still they are not really on the level of Roccat just yet, or at least that's what you would assume. But this time they played an amazing game, and if they continue playing like this, they might be the ones going to DreamHack Valencia. So at this point Roccat really has to say, well boys, we need to do something about that right now, and we have to win 2 in a row. And they need to start on Cursed Hollow, which is going to be the next map, and Roccat is running a very different composition. They're running with Johanna, a hero that they highly value. They banned her out in one of the previous games, and now we're seeing her as the frontliner here, played by Zocca. We're also having an Abathur in the mix, which is pretty cool here. And at the same time, then again, also having a Falstad in the game, which is one of the heroes that Roccat actually likes quite a lot for damage. On the other hand, we're having Puszek team with nearly the same composition that they had in the last game, a little bit different now. They're running a Kael'thas as well, but the front line once again with Arthurs and a Tassadar behind. So can this time Roccat, with the new composition that they're using here, take down their opponents on Cursed Hollow and tie the series up? Or is it going to be Puszek team that advances now after taking the best of 3 without even dropping a map? We're going to find out now on Cursed Hollow, boys, so get ready for the second game in the best of 3 series here at the Dreamhack Valencia Mini Qualifier.
Game on! Cursed Hollow, game number 2, Puszek team versus Roccat here at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier. And to the left side of the map we have the Polish team. It's Puszek team with the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series after their victory on Sky Temple. We have Ibrahim on Tyrande, Gotero again on Arthas, Greco this time on Kelthas, Chubek on Tassadar, and of course we have Malfurion in the game as well. I refuse to pronounce that nickname I know. To the right side of the map we have Roccat with Zocke on Johanna. It is Shadowma on Falstad, Hazorps on Abatha, Sportbilly on Rega, and Chris playing Sylvanas. And let's see if Roccat can come back into the series. And of course, once again, welcome Thatcher to the cast.
Thank you for having me. At the moment, talent-wise, at the very start of this game, nothing too out of the ordinary. We do see the standard increased radius on the spike burst from the Abatha, so pretty normal there. We have the Mana Addict from the Kale fans. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary from anyone other than the new Moonburn talent on the Malfurion.
It's kind of interesting to see that Malfurion actually lost his Conjurer's Pursuit and now suddenly everybody is trying to experiment with what is the best level 1 talent. Harmony has been taken quite a bit as well yesterday, but Moonburn, at least thus far, seems to be the talent to go for, just so that you have the extra pushing power on the hero. So it's kind of fun to see how the players are trying to adjust to that.
Yeah, it makes him a bit more useful in the laning phase. He can actually contribute to clearing a lane now, which is pretty awesome. Does not clear that Amplify. There we go. Has to use a second Moonfire for that.
Yeah, every single time I cast Puszek team, people explain to me again how to pronounce Malfurion's name. I know that if you misspell it a little bit, or if you mispronounce it a little bit, it basically means turtle. That's at least what I was told at some point. But it's not called Rutsuf. I think it's Shuf or something like that. And every single time
right.
I remember that, and then when I cast them again, I'm just like sitting there, looking at the screen, and I'm thinking to myself, what on earth, like how do I have to pronounce that again? And I really should just start calling the guy Bob. I threatened it several times and I just need to invent names for players that I can't pronounce. But I think it's something like Shuf. But yeah, people are definitely going to tell me again, no, you're wrong, it has to be like this and that. And there's like amazing websites where you can look it up, but I always forget, so yeah.
Yeah, there's Shuf and Shehu.
Shihu, I get that, like Shishirishi and Shihu, like I'm really down with that by now. But yeah, this is like, believe me, at the end of my Heroes of the Storm career, my Polish will be fluent. Dzień dobry, jak się masz, everybody that's watching right now. So, jak się macie Polacze? There we go.
The señorita.
I guess they understood that as well. But ladies, jokes aside, let's have a bit of a look at what's going on here in the game. Once more we have on Shadowmar with a Falstad here on level 4 Vampiric Assault taken for the extra lane sustain, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm liking it when you're going for an auto attack Falstad to really utilize this talent as well. I've been talking earlier a bit about how strong this actually becomes once you hit level 20. Of course, even before that you get quite some value out of talent choices like this, but on level 20 with an Nexus Frenzy, this is where it really starts to pay off. The Tribute is spawning on the map and we're going to see some action here. Zocke is already moving in, and Abatha and Johanna, it's a very annoying composition, which Thatcher, probably you experienced that as well already.
Yep, experienced it quite a lot, been part of it quite a lot. We do see the route onto Sportbilly there. He is going to be able to get out though. Johanna still just tanking up everything for now. Tassadar and Tassadar just having fun in the top lane, just soaking up XP, and Abatha just chilling in the mid lane for XP as well. So the longer this goes on, the more XP Roccat will get, but Arthas has now made his way to the mid lane for the XP, and we see Puszek giving up the tribute, giving it over to Team Roccat.
Yeah, when we talk about play, I actually should not have even mentioned that you experienced this composition a bit, but I should have known from the start that you already played with Johanna and Abatha a lot. Guys, you need to realize that first of all, Thatcher is one of those guys that plays a lot of tanks, so obviously you are the Johanna player in that equation. But he's also like one of these massive trolls that every week...
A scumbag, that's the term you're looking for.
I was trying to be polite about it, you know?
I accept who I am.
Okay, so he's a pretty big scumbag that looks every single week, what is free week? And then tries to just annoy the hell out of those people that are picking heroes for the first time and don't really know how to play them. So I can...
for free week is my favourite time of the year.
And every new Abatha player on the planet is going to hate you for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, just play Zeratul, play Nova, have a wonderful time.
Yeah, I can remember the early Alpha Troll videos there. But well, in this game we of course also have the power of the Johanna and Abathur combination. You can really use that. We have again the global nests being used, and there's nothing much more annoying than if you have level 4 and level 7 nests. On level 7 with the Vile Nest, the movement speed reduction by 50% for 4 seconds. It is just so annoying, and there's so many close like tunnels and like nooks where you can place a mine and then suddenly your opponent is being slowed down on the way to the tribute. It's really a pain, and in this case we are already seeing Rocket going straight for the second tribute, trying to take that secret weapon, of course, the talent of choice on the side of Falstad, who went for that auto attack build that we've been already talking about a bit earlier. But yeah, pretty cool talents coming out there, and also a few variations on heroes like Rhaegar and Malfurion.
Yeah, very much so, and like you were saying earlier on the mines, there's very few more annoying things than on this map. Mounting up, the tribute is just about to spawn, you need to make your way up to top lane from bot lane to go help your team with that tribute. You take one step outside your lane and instantly an Abathur mine, you're demounted. And then you mount up, and there's another mine. And by the time you're in the mid lane, the tribute is gone.
Well, talking about the tributes there, we just had a very interesting picture to the right side, because there was Abathur just now. He was just sitting there minding his own business, and suddenly an owl flew right past him, and Hazorps, he got really scared for a second. You could move him to the side, and he got irritated. Abathur was just like, can't compute, like I can't make that Abathur voice. But yeah, just moved back immediately. It kind of looked funny. And he's already burrowing away up to the top lane, and of course why? Because we see that tribute at the bot lane now once again. Oh, nice! Trying to interrupt Tassadar, but that was a really close one. Unfortunately for Rocket, that didn't work out, so he can just man up again and come into the battle here. Falstad flying in, and Terror is still at the front line trying to channel the tribute.
Yep, they're going to have a bit of fight. Soccer charging forward here. He does a lot of damage onto Ghost Terror. Shadowmire also chasing forward pretty hard. Sportbilly is gathering the tribute in the background as Shadowmire blocking the owl. Flame Strike not in time. And that is the curse going over to Team Roccat.
Yeah, they are cursing the blue team, and so far I have to admit that they are doing a pretty good job here. In regards to the experience, we are still on the same level for both of the teams, but with this curse, Rocket should be able to destroy a couple of the structures. It's Tassadar already on its way up to the top lane as well, so Abathur needs to be really careful now. Hazorps is moving away, and we're seeing now the mid lane being pushed quite heavily with a big camp here, the Bruiser camp. Arthur's in a bit of trouble moving back. Mental acuity on Tassadar is definitely going to help with the vision on the map in the later stages now as well. We have a cleanse taken on all of our healers, as mentioned before, and the monstrosity on Abathur. It is the Tamagotchi, and I love nothing more than that level 20 ability on Abathur when you play with monstrosity. I carried a game just the other day completely with that, killing 2 people with the monstrosity. Everybody just completely underestimates it.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage when you get to the late game. It's pretty terrifying. Tassadar in full retreat. Does he have a special shift? Doesn't need it at this point. But now, we're going to see Puszek chase back Roccat not wanting to hang around there, do not want to get caught out. The curse is about to end, but they already have a minion wave tanking this fort. The fort does go down. Cindergrosa comes in. Stun lands on no one at this point. The silence also landed. We're going to see the hits of that block onto Tassadar. Tassadar immediately dimensional shifting and is now going to stand in that tranquility and immediately takes a power throw to the face. And Roccat going to be retreating again. They did some damage, but they have very little left. They just sort of threw out all their trump cards and didn't really catch anything for it.
Yeah, and for Puszek team it was basically the same, I want to say. I mean, that Cindergrosa didn't really do anything, as you already said. First of all, we had Johanna in the path, but she simply activated her trade, and that was it. So there was nothing they could really do there. No big team fights just yet. I mean, there's not a single kill on the map just yet. The teams are starting to focus a bit more on the boss, and in this case it is actually Rocket trying to get this one. If they hurry, they might be able to just take it before we are seeing Puszek team moving in. It's gonna be a close call though. They're trying. Here comes the stun starfall being used already. Puszek team is on the spot with one hero, and in comes Arthas. The kill against Tassadar, but they might be able to get that now. It looks like Arthas might die though, and with Abathur helping out in this battle, this could be it, but there is the Phoenix, and they get it! They take them down! Wow!
Power throw comes in, does a little bit of damage, but it's not enough, and the boss is stolen by Puszek team. Second time in a row, second game in a row.
Wow.
That Roccat have lost a boss fight.
You know, I'm actually just imagining, like, how that could be, like, a comic, you know? You have the entire time the big team fight, there's Tassadar on the spot, he dies, but Arthas takes over, claims it, they're fighting this battle, just barely Rocket makes it happen, and there rides on his Mechano guy Kelthas into the battle with a big troll face over, like, covering his real face and his head, and it's just like saying, yoo-hoo, Phoenix,
Lol,
right
Phoenix.
there, lol, and throws in the flame strike, and then it's just goodbye, boss. That must be so frustrating.
Yeah, Kael'thas is just the king of small area fights, and if you want to just all stand on that circle, he's going to throw you... Ooh, that was a close owl.
Yeah, well,
Very close to stopping the bee. They wouldn't have made much of a difference, but just stops the bee.
the thing is, like, there's a couple of really troll plays that you can have. I was mentioning the monstrosity earlier, and of course on level 20 what most Abathur players still do is go for Hive Mind, just because it's such a great talent. But we've seen Fnatic the other day going for that level 20 talent for the monstrosity, and that means that you can suddenly burrow there with her anywhere on the map. And if you burrow next to the backline, like for example a Kael'thas, which happened in the game that I was just referencing, then you could just really see that fear that suddenly happens to be on like the face of the backline. Everybody's just thinking, what the fuck is happening when you see a monstrosity just burrowing out of the ground next to you and starting to do 400 or 500 damage with every single hit? That can be really frightening. So yeah, the troll plays these days are definitely real. But it's also the scary plays, and in this case it is one trying to threaten the bot lane and the keep.
There's so much zoning coming out from Puszek team here. We did see the Syndragosa to disable the buildings. We saw the Phoenix to zone, and then the Starfall to zone stun. Then the Tyrande will land on Chris. They do kill the boss, but their keep, is now on about a third health. Kael'thas does hit a mine. He is slowed.
Yeah, he needs to be super careful here. They might be able to catch him. Zocke should probably not go too deep there. Sport Billy took already on level 4 the chain reaction, which is a really cool talent to have here. And on level 13, he went for the healing surge there as well. So we could maybe even see them go into level 16 talent on Rhaegar for the reduction on the cooldown in team fights, which is actually pretty amazing. I feel that when it comes to level 20 though, that we're having quite the advantage on the side of Roccat. They will have a lot of extra damage. That Indestructible on Johanna is going to do so much. If you have Nexus Frenzy on Falstad and then also Hive Mind potentially on Abathur, there's so much that he can do with it. So I feel in the level 20 area that Roccat might have a bit of an edge over their opponents, but we still need to consider, of course, that on level 16 there is going to be Ignite for Kael'thas, which is always just such an amazing talent.
Yeah, and we do see Roccat pick up the tribute there. Arthas did have to go to the top lane for Puszek to deal with the monstrosity from Abathur that pushed all the way up to the tier 2s there, because the tier 1 fort was already down. And there was no way they could contest, just harass for as long as they could. But Roccat now starting to play a little bit more aggressive, disabling the keep in the bot lane. They're going to try and push that down. Malfurion and Tyrande are here, but the rest of the team is pretty far out, so Roccat just going to be backing up, not wanting to engage too hard.
And let's be fair, I mean, we saw that talent, or that the aggression on the side of Puszek team, grabbing that boss, pushing in the bot lane, taking down a lot of the structures of their opponent already, and also threatening keep. But in experience, Puszek team is still a bit behind. That's of course also because Abathur was just doing such a great job throughout the entire match now, soaking an additional lane on the map, so that really helped. Looking at the experience just in general, we have him currently at 11,000, so that really works in their favor. They have the level 16 talent already, and they're trying to carry that advantage towards the bot lane, where we might see pressure against one of the keeps now.
Yep, and I love this talent choice on the Falstad, the Hammer Time talent. First basic attack against any target slowed by Hammerang will stun them for 0.75 seconds. It's a tiny little stun that can really mess you up when you're trying to get any kind of combo down.
At the same time now, the Tribute is once again up on the map, and this is where we could see that talent coming in for the first time. This is going to be another team fight happening, but the level 16 talent isn't there yet for Puszek team. Now they finally have it, now they could fight, but Sport Billy is about to take the Tribute, and he does, just in time to curse the blue team once more. The level 16 talents now also with a Blast Hammer on Johanna. We're having Abathur with Envenomed Spikes after he also took Soma Transference now on level 13. And we've been mentioning earlier on already that Tidal Waves on Rhaegar, which is just an amazing talent in team fights. Once that you chain heal 3 heroes, then you also get a 3-second cooldown reduction on the talent, meaning that you can just like spam those out in team fights. Like 6 days to Sunday, and it's amazing how much heal you can give your team in such a situation.
Yep, it is very nice. We're now going to see Roccat push very aggressively in this top lane. Tassadar having to dimensional shift so that he did not get caught there. And this keep is now under some serious duress. There's the Syndragosa though, and it looks like Puszek are going to want to try and counter push here. There's the stun onto Falstep, and Ancestral Healing allows him to immediately turn around and start on that keep again. Socket and Chris just driving back GoTerra. Starfall though, forcing Roccat to split up a bit, but Arthur's being focused down. Nice heal though. The Wailing Arrow doesn't really do very much. Gets a quick size, but the Tranquility was already down. There's the root onto Johanna, but she just pops her passive and walks away. Roccat just able to disengage, but they do get the keep.
Very good initial kill also against Khaldor. He was just stunned barely outside of the gate range when we saw Johanna throw her blessed shield, so that very much helped with this attack now. They solidify that lead that they have. Take down the first keep. They're now on level 18 versus soon to be level 17. Of course, there are also strong talents on the side of Team Puszek. They are going for tenacious roots. If Malfurion gets those out on the map and then a flame strike hits and maybe even a phoenix, you can get so much damage in. Of course, we should always remember that there's also an additional stun available thanks to good old Tyrande and the Howling Blast. So there's a lot of lockdown in these fights, but you have to really get the setup for it, and so far they haven't really been able to get that. Level 20 is going to be the next big talent for the teams, and with the boss now taken at the top, we're seeing Roccat immediately move down to the bot lane to do the same exact thing over here. And for now, the Polish team will just have to defend bot lane, top lane, then bot lane, and they're in a very, very defensive position in general now.
Yeah, with the vulnerable talent from Tyrande, they're going to be able to clear out these bosses without too much trouble, but it's the fact they're being taken at all. It's putting a huge amount of pressure on them. They want to be in a situation like they were in the game on Sky Temple, like they were at the early part of this game, where they are in control. They are the ones taking the bosses, because that means that Roccat are on the back foot, and that's where Puszek want them, due to the fact that that's where they can engage with the most efficiency using the Cindergosa.
I really like the game and the dynamic that it has, by the way, even though we have very few kills. We have 3 on the side of Roccat and only 2 kills for Puszek team, but it's just like the dynamic considering the objectives here. The boss steal earlier, the push against the keep of Roccat at the bot lane, then the counter aggression thanks to that second curse, and by now it's another keep that falls in the mid lane as a boss has to be defended against down at the bot lane. That's where we're having Puszek team, and in the mid lane it was again Roccat using that opportunity to just push in. So from tactical point of view, a great decision and a very good rotation that they just showed.
Yeah, but very nice indeed. And Roccat getting very close to their level 20s right now. You can see them hanging around a lot on Puszek's side of the map at the moment, just looking to see if they could get a quick pick-off to give them that little XP boost on the way to those level 20s so they can go really aggressive.
Yeah, and they are aiming straight for the mercenary camp at the bot lane. Of course, it's also a Puszek team now who might not even go for the tribute, because as you already said, they realize that level 20 is going to hit any second of their opponent. So they should just sit here, try to use that time that they have to just push those lanes, or like get the experience and make sure that they are starting to close that gap a little bit. But they are still an entire level behind.
Yes, this is very true. They're just in a really tough position right now, and there is the level 20s and the tribute going over to Roccat. They're still 2 away from another curse, and now we see the monstrosity being a pain in the ass in the top lane. Ampher is controlling it, and Tasta wants to try and kill it off, but getting it only down to half health.
He should go for the Tamagotchi talent. I really love it.
Let's see if he does.
So fun. But basically what he does, like, the one thing that's really important is that you can start to burrow with your monstrosity. So once it's about to die, you can just move it back. He doesn't, and I get why. I mean, it's hive mind after all. It's just amazing to have those double symbiotes in the fights. But it's so much fun to just unburrow the monstrosity next to the backline of your opponent and suddenly do damage. Because, guys, a monstrosity with full stacks has roughly 5,000 to 6,000 hit points in the late game. And then you also do about 500 damage with a hit, and with a symbiote head on top of it, you can do even more damage than that. And that backline is not going to be happy about a monstrosity suddenly appearing in the fight. In certain games, you can really carry with a thing like that, and it is super fun if it happens. But of course, the much more stable talent is Hive Mind, and by now, as I said before, I think that the level 20 talents here are amazing for Roccat. Having Indestructible, Nexus Frenzy, and then also the Storm Shield plus Blink is just great, and especially if Falstad is going to get a massive, massive spike in damage now.
I would very much agree, but Roccat not really making the most out of this. They had level 20 for a while, didn't really make anything out of this other than keeping their map control that they already had, and because of that, Puszek have now managed to make their way to level 20 and are currently focusing down this monstrosity. They will finally pick it off. So those are all the stacks gone.
Yeah, well, the monstrosity is gone, that's definitely true, and it looks like we're having a bit of a trap on the side of Roccat. What are they going to try and set up here? The bosses are not going to be appearing on the map for another minute and a half. We're having the mid lane being pushed back, and this is of course now the time on level 20, where everything that you did before, in terms of like team fighting, doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that really matters is how many structures do you still have and how many structures does your opponent have. The advantage of establishing a talent lead or a level lead is by now negated. These team fights will happen on eye level, but it's those two keeps that have been taken out by Roccat that really count in their favor.
Yeah, it's one fort alive versus one fort killed at the moment in favor of Roccat, so they're able to just take all the map control. Like you said, level 20s means that the fights can be a bit in their favor, but all they have to do is to kill one more keep to put themselves in a favourable position with catapults in every lane, or just continue playing how they are at the moment. Grab tributes when they can, clear lanes when they can, and wait for Puszek to make a mistake.
Yeah, we have Tassadar now, Puszek in the mid lane here. They're rotating towards the tribute. What is Roccat doing though? They're aiming for that last keep here. They're just saying like, alright, you take the tribute, we're gonna take your keep. It is the last one, and they're going for the exchange here. I think they will be able to make that happen. Yep, just look how fast they burst it down. No chance. They were trying to be back, but yeah, that was a very smart move by Roccat here. Taking down the last keep of their opponents, and now there's not a single structure in the way of Roccat any longer. All that they have to do is at some point push the core.
Yep, and they could even go up to their boss at the moment. The bottom boss is just about to spawn. There it is. So they could even roll back in and try and force that mistake I was talking about from Puszek now by maybe fighting them at that boss. But Puszek, like we can see, playing a bit passively. They're away from their base right now, and there are currently catapults on it. They're going to try and take the boss. Do Roccat know about this? Doesn't look like they do. They're heading on to their own boss. Not even going to try and contest this. They may not even know what's happening. They will probably know thanks to that owl. And thanks to the owl, Puszek knows exactly what's going on as well. There's monstrosity in the top lane, split pushing while all this is going on. And the tribute is in a nice position for Puszek.
Yeah, and the shields are actually about to be gone. The monstrosity alone is already doing so much work, eliminating every single minion, and now it's only catapults attacking the core right away. And of course, what we're going to see now is Roccat trying to finish the game with the help of the boss that they have. There is going to be another tribute caught by Go so it's 2 for 2 now, and there will be a team fight for the next tribute. It might not even come to this though, because we are having Roccat moving in up at the top lane. They're trying to finish it now with that boss, taking also another mercenary camp, stealing the siege giants away from their opponent with a good timing here. So this is really do or die. Now Puszek team have to show that they can defend against this, and it's not going to be easy. Tassadar already in trouble, moving away with a dimensional shift. Sok is trying to catch Malfurion. They're going for him. They burst him away. Down goes Malfurion, and this might be the end of the game.
Yep, Tassadar getting burst down once again. We're going to see them root onto the Silver, onto the Arthur, sorry. There is the Hinslab buzz. Arthur's just not caring. He's tagging through this. Soccer being dropped quite low, but Khaldor finally going to get taken down. The Indestructible keeps Soccer alive, and that is GG.
Wow.
Roccat winning game number 2.
Really well played. It is a tie in the series, and we're going to move into game number 3 now to find out who moves on to the next series here at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier.
Roccat takes the game on Khaldor. Again, the boss gets stolen, so they really have to do something about that on Sky Temple and on Khaldor. 2 times they lose the boss of their opponent. In this case, though, they are able to win the game, and very well played here too. So a pretty cool series that we have now, and well, with the series being tied, we're going straight into game number 3, which is on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So we are seeing, of course, once again the teams fighting for that spot, and this is going to be the map that it comes down to, at least for now. The winner of these series goes into the final of this mini qualifier up against Kappa123, a team that you might not have heard of before, but well, all of these players that are playing in it have been playing for pro teams before, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see who's going to win that. But well, first of all, we need to find out who's going to go up against them. Is it going to be Puszek team? Will the Polish lineup be successful on Tomb of the Spider Queen right now, or is Roccat able to really win 2 in a row and therefore take the series here? Tomb of the Spider Queen is our next map, so let's jump right into it without further ado. Guys, let's find out who's going to take it here.
The game is live, game number 3. We are on Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. Starting to the left side in our series here, the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier, it is the Polish team, it is Puszek team. With Ibrahim on Sylvanas, we have Go, a former StarCraft 2 player, on Anubarak, and Kreko on Jaina, Puszek on Tassadar, and the Turtle on Malfurion. To the right side, oh, shish, to the right side, you're screwing up the introduction. To the right side of the map, it is Roccat with Zocke on Muradin, Shadowmar on Rega. We have Chris on Kelthas, Sport Billy on Tyrande, and Hazorps on Vala. And the guy that is just laughing during my beautiful introduction is, of course, Techa.
I just like the fact that we can now call him Turtle. I am more than happy with that as a substitute name as opposed to Bomb.
Yeah, the turtle. So yeah,
it has now been accepted.
Exactly, it has been accepted by us. The guy is now officially a turtle, and that's problem
Double
solved.
confirmed.
All right. So, as it happens, this is going to be, of course, the deciding match between these two teams, boys. So, we had a lot of fun already in between games here, but now the serious business is starting again, as we are seeing the Polish team trying to fight for a spot at Dreamhack Valencia. The same is, of course, also true for Roccat. They already dominated here on Cursed Hollow in the last game, but they lost the original map. They lost on Sky Temple, and we're going to find out which team is going to take it now. We have, once again, one tank for each team in this case, so now no double tank shenanigans, no double heal shenanigans. It's a couple of supports here though, and we have a great roaming squad with Muradin and Tyrannus now finally in play in one of these games, and it is on the side of Roccat.
Very much so. Nice stun from Muradin, but he does have to back out as he takes a little bit of damage from Sylvanas. Moving in onto Gotera, but Gotera getting a nice heal from Malfurion. We're just seeing a couple of scuffles, a couple of abilities flying out here and there. No one really committing yet.
Yeah, down to the bot lane, we have, by the way, Puszek on his Tassadar together with Shadowmar. Two of the supporters against each other, and the mid lane is just so crowded. The root against Tyrannus, and the kill! She gets the stun out, but there's no follow-up to punish Sylvanas. So Tyrannus, the first kill in the game, and yeah, first blood for the Polish team.
Yeah, and Puszek been playing incredibly well today. In both games, just been playing super aggressively, and have just been doing a fantastic job against the team that most people would consider one of the favourites to actually be going to Valencia. But if Roccat can play as well as they did in the second game, then they will have a very good chance. This Hasu just throwing out the multi-shots for now, starting off with the extra range on it as well, so we can play a little safer.
It's also talking about the range, it's something that I really like here, because oftentimes we have this discussion which talent is better on Sylvanas. Do you go for Barb Shot at level 1? Do you go for With the Wind? And then on this map in particular, oh, good stun against the Nubarak at the top lane. Tries to go in again, but they have to move back. But yeah, on this map, I feel like Barb Shot is one of the best talents that you have on Sylvanas, just because it's so good at pushing out the lanes, especially when the Web Weavers descend for your opponent. But if you're going up against that Muradin and Tyrannus squad, you really want to stay away from your opponent's heroes as much as you can. So that's where the range, of course, comes into play once again. It's pretty cool to just see players making these choices on personal preferences and just depending on the team composition that they're facing.
Like, we're going to see Tassadar having to pop his dimensional shift here. Manages to dodge the stun from the Tyrannus and is actually turning around, starting to deal some damage here due to the fact that the rest of Puszek are coming in. Soccer just going to jump over the wall so he doesn't take all of that Blizzard. Shadowmare gets dropped very low, and he's just going to hang around to heal the rest of his team. They're now going onto a Nubarak, but he gets a heal from Malfurion, and that is enough to stop the chase from Roccat.
They're taking down one of the towers at the bot lane though, so Puszek team once again establishing themselves a bit of a lead in experience there. Well done thus far. The mental acuity to reduce the cooldown on Tassadar's D is amazing, by the way, on this map, just because you get so much vision on those turning points as well, and this is what Tomb of the Spider Queen is really all about, trying to deny deterrence to your opponent, and that's a pretty cool thing here. We have for Malfurion again, a Loon's Grace taken, and a Snowstorm on level 4 on the side of Jaina. So pretty nice talents and adjustments, of course, after the next patch as well. For Tyrannus, we still have the Protective Shield on level 4. And one of the talents that I personally don't really like as much anymore is Envenom. What do you think about that?
It did, oh, down goes Tassadar. It did get affected pretty badly in the patch. And yeah, I agree. I think there are some better options. I'm not too familiar off the top of my head with what are the other options for Sylvanas though, because I personally always picked Envenom when I played her.
Yeah, for me too. The thing is, like, the other options that you have on level 4 are actually not all that great. One of them is that when you have the Haunting Wave, you restore the Q charges.
Nah.
For example, that's also one of those things where I'm a bit like, nah, I don't know. There's a couple of dagger talents. Like, in general, the talents on level 4 for Sylvanas are really not all that good. It's probably her weakest talent in general. And now that Envenom is just plain bad, it's very difficult still to go for another one because the other choices suck even more. So it's just like, yeah, what to go for here. But in Venom, it feels like it gets out-healed so much, even by the natural health regeneration of a hero. So I feel they should at least make it in a way that maybe for the duration the hero doesn't regenerate hit points any longer. I don't know, like, I feel like it's very, very weak now.
It's not that great. Other talents-wise, we do see a Mule coming in from Tyrande, and talking about talents that I'm not too sure about, the reverberation and the level 1 from Muradin, it's pretty standard, but due to the fact that it's very effective against those auto-attackers, and the only real heavy auto-attacker on the side of Puszek is going to go down. The only really heavy auto-attacker is going to be Tassadar at that level 10 with his Archon form.
I personally feel that this is one of the things, I talked about that in a recent cast as well, where I just said I feel it's on vogue these days to go always for reverberation, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like the standard thing to do, so people don't really think about it too much anymore. It was just accepted that in a patch where we had a lot of auto-attack heroes like Illidan dominating the meta, it was the big change from the Stormbolt build to the Thunderclap build, and people accepted that. I've seen a few more Stormbolt builds coming out on the side of Muradin, though, the last few days, and I really like that, especially on a map like this, where you can just like burst down a couple of structures. It feels so much better, and I completely agree with you there. I think a Stormbolt build for him would have been the better choice against the setup that we're seeing on the side of the Polish team.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We see a lot of different talent choices and a lot of different build styles in the current meta, and there's still, like we said, a lot of people figuring stuff out after the patch, and some people do just wait for other people to figure it out.
One of the things that I have to say, though, is that you could argue that Anubarak with the beetles that we are seeing is making the Thunderclap build a bit better, because with the Stormbolt, then again, you will hit a lot of the beetles. But as we're having the Piercing Bolt on 7, you normally hit at least one hero, because that beetle is only going to block the first hammer. So yeah, there's like pros and cons in these situations, I feel, when you have an Anubarak on the opponent's team.
Very much so. Well played by Soccer there, timing his jump perfectly to not get rooted by that Mafia, and then instantly stunning the Sylvanas so that he took minimum damage in the retreat with Valor. For now, though, we're seeing Puszek team once again going super aggressive onto this bottom lane. They're going to be taking down this fort, and there is nothing that Roccat can do about it.
Yeah, right now we're seeing that 4 drop, as you already said, and just look at the experience. I mean, they don't have level 10, there's nearly level 11 now for the Polish team. We have Locust, Swarm Chosen, which got nerfed in the last patch as well. Not as much damage and heal anymore for Anubarak, but still very solid. The Red Web Weavers at least are descending, and that is a very good move on the side of Roccat, that they got that sneaky turn. And Soccer pausing the game at that point allows us to actually... What? Good job?
Sorry.
Okay, like tactical pause incoming. It's actually like a really annoying situation with that pause right now. So Soccer is lacking and Terror is apologizing here, so it was a bit too hasty. The heat of the moment. But yeah, it gives us the opportunity to talk about these choices and the talents once again a bit more. What we are seeing is that we have cleanse on both of the healers in this case, and we've been talking about that before. There have been massive changes to the supporters in the last patch, and cleanse is now available to 4 of the healers, which is absolutely amazing actually, just because you won't see these situations where you yourself pick in the draft screen one cleanse hero, ban the other one out, and then your opponent doesn't have an opportunity to cleanse out, well, let's say a Judgment, for example.
Yep, very true. And we also see a difference in talents as opposed to the two teams in what they pick. When Roccat were playing the Kael'thas in the second game, they ran the Gathering Power on it. When Puszek have played it both times, they ran the upgrade to the Gravity Lapse, the Neverwind.
What I also find super interesting here, I mean, I completely agree with you on the Gathering Power Netherwind, because I feel that we have like a lot of like personal preference coming to play here as well. If you look, for example, at the former Dignitas team with Norok, they always went for Netherwind because he always argued against Gathering Power, but then again, Team Liquid oftentimes takes Gathering Power, so it's really depending on the team what talent you go for. What I like in this case now, though, too, is that we have Anubarak with an adjustment on his own build, not going for that extended range on the spikes on level 1, but instead it's Regeneration Master that has been taken. And Regeneration Master got buffed in this patch. In the later stages of the game, it will heal more. In the beginning, it's a bit weaker, but I don't really think that it's too bad. It lost that flat increase of the health regeneration with 4 points at the start, but it has more now per globe, and that's actually pretty damn cool. I'm really liking it. And this is something that
bad.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
Good. Okay. Okay, well, full retreat for Puszek now.
Yeah, that was a bit of miscommunication that we had there. Apparently Terra was ready, didn't realize that Tassadar was not in a position where he wanted to start this. This could have been a bad moment.
Yeah, and luckily we're not going to see a fight by the looks of it. I have an update on the score from the other game. Kappa123, 1-2-1.
Yeah, nice. As expected, the favorite was able to get through. And in this case, that means, of course, that the winner of this game is going to go up against Kappa123, a very, very strong team that is actually super solid in the European scene right now and is probably putting the most effort in their practice and in their scrims in general. This is at least what you hear from everybody that is talking about the team, screwing with the team, teams like Team Liquid, for example. So this is going to be a crazy final that we're going to have later. I'm really looking forward to it. But let's find out which team is going to face them, because at this point it still looks like Puszek team is able to hold on to that level 1 lead that they have over their opponents.
Looking like it indeed, and having a look at the heroics from both teams right now, it's quite interesting because both teams have heroics that really encourage the whole fighting grouped up thing, where they basically want their opponents to be grouped up in the form of Starfall on top of Phoenix, so they have a huge area of damage with the Strafe adding to that. Oh, Tastar able to get out, and on the other side we have the Tranquility for the huge area heals that they have to stay together that way. The Anubarak going to be trying to be all in amongst the enemy team stuff, and the Water Elemental just does the huge amount of splash damage when it is used, and Tranquility keeping everyone healed. Tassadar just getting the splash damage from the Archon.
Yeah, talking about annoying things, by the way, we've been talking about the Hydra earlier on. Water Elemental, taking it a step farther. Oh my god, like I can't even remember how often I died to a Water Elemental when I was trying to just run away, somehow was low in HP, my allies just moving past me, ignoring the Water Elemental, I'm screaming for help at the top of my lungs, I'm just like, do something! And it just goes in, slows me down, one hit after another, and just, like, my life just like, behind
flashes
like,
before your eyes.
it's like it's bad, like it's really bad, like it's a moment and you're just like dreading it and you know you can't escape. That Water Elemental, 10 out of 10 would hate again. This is nice push here at the top lane on the other hand. The Polish team now with an extra talent as well, and that's of course the one thing that you really try to capitalize upon. We're seeing the Spell Shield, which also got buffed in the patch. Probably going to see that a lot more, and we're having for tasks that are now Shrink Ray being used, which can be great in the fights if you especially want to lock down Muradin a bit.
Yeah, but I like the way that Roccat are playing this defensively, though. Using different AoE damage abilities for different lanes of defense. Using the Starfall in the top lane without throwing out the Phoenix. Chris saving his Phoenix to use in the mid lane. I wasn't able to save the fort, but was able to clear what was left of the wave pretty quickly and pretty efficiently while still zoning out the team of Puszek.
Yeah, and talking about Puszek, they are now starting to turn in once again. They are trying to get the next set of Web Weavers. They do not have enough jumps yet, but they are also making sure that if one of their heroes dies, they're not going to lose everything. And at this point, we're having them with the Evasive Fire and Sylvanas for the extra speed. Didn't really want to go into a Spell Shield, which I kind of find interesting considering that we're having a Kel'Thuz's on the other side. So, yeah, apparently Sylvanas believing in her abilities to dodge these Flame Strike. So again, nice root, and Malfurion is able to just go in straight again against Muradin. Muradin uses his skills, goes straight for the Avatar, moves away, and we have a Strafe already being used at the same time. Also the Silence coming in against Zocke, but he jumped away already, and they don't get the kill because there was a stun by Tyrande against Sylvanas. That must have been a frustrating moment.
Tyrande dropping 2 stuns there, one at the very start, as Muradin was just getting out of that, as the Ancestral Healing went down, giving time for the Ancestral Healing to go off, and a second one right at the end. Tyrande, the saviour in that play.
Yeah, we have the 13s now ready for Team Roccat, and Team Roccat is by now in possession of some really nice healing talents. We're having a Healing Surge take on 13, it will probably also going to be the tidal wave on 16 then, and Overflowing Light. That should make it a lot more easier for them to have that sustain in those fights, especially since we're seeing for Vala now Frost Shot taken, and this is such an amazing talent if you picked up Composite Arrows on level 1. It's so great to have that slow in team fights. The problem that they're having, though, is that we have another Web Weaver set already descending for the blue team.
Yep, and Puszek, once again, taking control of the game, being super aggressive with this. And that Oracle, like you said at the very start, is helping them out so much. They constantly know where Roccat is on this incredibly small map, so they're able to be a little greedy in the bot lane with Jaina, because they know exactly where Roccat are, so she knows she's not going to be caught.
Top lane, that's where we're seeing the Web Weavers pushing the wave back, but it's the action in the mid lane that's really the one that we need to focus upon, since we're having a stun against Anubarak. He's barely getting out of there. The same is true for Muradin, though. He's also just escaping in the last second, and the push against the wall. 2 towers already down, and it is the keep that is going to lose the first few hit points here. Nope, actually not. The Web Weaver just decides that that well is a little bit more important.
Very much so. And once again, we see the split up of heroics there. Phoenix in the mid lane, Starfall in the bot lane, just splitting up the abilities for defensive purposes so that they don't waste everything, and then give Puszek a chance to engage.
And they have level 16 now. They just got that for Cold Embrace. We have for Nuburak still the Blood for Blood taken. And on the side of Jaina, it is the Numbing Blast that we are seeing with the Dimensional Warp for Tacita and the Tenacious Roots for Malfurion. They apparently try to go for the Throw Pit here, but this is of course one of the problems if you don't take care of those walls early on in the game, that once you decide to go for the Throw Pit, your opponent immediately sees what you're doing. The Owl was also on the way, and Puszek team was looking... I just picture them being in the same room looking at each other, and they're like, nah, let's not do it because that can't end well.
Oh, good job by Soccer there, able to get out.
Yeah,
but
he's a jumpy fella.
He is a jumpy fella. Very bad on Halloween, just terrified constantly.
Have you ever met Soccer?
I have not.
He's the exact opposite, the most chill dude ever. It's really funny. Well, up to the top lane, he's there on his Billy Mount, and Terror! Well, he goes in once. Oh, gets stunned immediately, needs to be careful, but we already had an Ancestral Legion. Hazov's moving away with Strafe, and can't really do anything there. It's just really that passive stance that we're seeing from Roccat now, trying to bridge that gap in experience to hit level 16 as well and get that talent. And for Puszek team, they are ahead, but they have to think about what they're going to do right now. I mean, at this point, they're trying to de-push, of course, the lanes and make sure that these Web Weavers don't get too much traction, especially, well, thinking about it, there's no especially, because all of the lanes look pretty shitty for Roccat at this point. There's nothing that is being threatened, but of course you want to make sure that Kel'Thas, that you somehow capitalize on that earlier 16, I would say.
Yeah, they need to basically bully Roccat as much as possible before level 16 happens, because like you said, Kel'Thas, you're going to actually get a little bit of a power spike, which actually makes him as useful as he's basically going to get, and then he can turn fights by basically just harassing constantly. And that is exactly what Roccat have been trying to do, but it just doesn't really give too much damage. So it's a bit of it. It's going to get a bit better once he has that Ignite.
By the way, really like Sport Billy's Tyrande Master Skin there, and also that Billy Mount that he's comboing that off with. Wow, that's a role player right there.
That is pretty cool. I really like that.
That is really good. Wow, I'm liking that, alright, I'm a fan. The Throw Pit has been entered though, and uh-oh, that's really bad timing for Puszek team. Here comes the 16, yeah, you cannot go for that. That Tornado was trying to troll Sylvanas a little bit and try to keep her in the pit actually. But yeah, of course, by now the boss is leeched, will get full HP. If they wanted to go for the boss, they had to do it much faster than that, much earlier when they just hit their level 16 and had that advantage. By now it's gone, we're having both teams again on even levels.
Yep, and that is very good for Roccat. You can see them, they're suddenly a bit further out of their base than they have been this entire time, because now they can actually compete a bit in terms of fights, in terms of sieging, and they need to get some of this map pressure back, and that's what they're doing. You can see them playing a bit further forward, going to try and turn in some of these gems they've been holding on to all of this time. Kel'Thas acting as the zone there, and Muradin and Shadowmare get both of theirs in. If Hasselhoff's can turn in, that will be more Web Weavers for Roccat, and he does manage it. Soccer having to jump out there as an Uberak was getting a bit of CC down.
Yeah, and that could actually start to threaten the first structures in the game on the side of Puszek team. They have to be careful with this. The quality of life changes that we saw in the last patch to the totem in general is going to be quite nice for Rhaegar in those fights now as well. He's already using his Earthgrasp totem, so once one of the heroes is a bit out of position, they can use that to lock him down even further after an initial setup maybe from Zocke with his stun. So yeah, they could be caught here, and this is not an easy situation for Puszek team. They've been ahead the entire time, but now that 16 is being hit, there's strong talents on the side of Roccat. We have Ignite, we have also Stoneform, Muradin is nearly unkillable at this point, and of course with the extra damage on the two-shot aura and Bala having here her healing potion with Blood for Blood, this is a pretty scary moment now for Puszek team. This is really the time when Roccat wants to go in and do some damage, and they're doing this at the top lane right now.
Yep, trying to get as much out of this as possible. Down goes the Web Weaver in top lane. Mid lane has already gone as well, so the bot lane one still getting a bit of pushing, and this is actually the lane that Roccat has got the most done in so far, as it's just been pushing pretty passively, with Puszek only going down on the odd occasion to declear it.
It's, by the way, fascinating to me that we only have 3 kills in the entire game. There was so much action. We're 17 minutes in and only 3 kills. It just really shows how cautious these teams are right now. This is really the game that matters for them. You want to go to that final. You want to face Kappa123 to have a chance to go to Dreamhack Valencia. Another big offline event, of course, here in Heroes of the Storm. And right now, both of the teams know that their life in the tournament is on the line here. If they are out, there's no loser bracket. They will drop out immediately, so they have to win this one. Very cautious, but in the mid lane we could actually see now another team fight with GoTerra not really making the decision yet to commit to it and jump in.
This is in fact the case. Chris just staying very far in the back, just being so careful, because if he goes down then that is a free opportunity for Puszek to make the most of an engagement. But as long as he can stay alive, he can just chip away at Puszek and try and get stuff done for his team. GoTerra does get slowed by that totem, but he's going to be able to walk away.
That was exactly the setup that we've been talking about earlier, starting off with the stun and then going into the totem, locking down the target even further, and they couldn't capitalize on it since nobody else was there for the follow-up. But still, it's just the poke that we're seeing from both sides. We're seeing Jaina, of course, with the Blizzard, we're having at the same time the Moonfire spam, the Storms. It's just trying to catch one of the heroes of the opponent's team out of position, getting an opportunity to jump in there. Even a bit of deep push at the bot lane as GoTerra is now moving in as an Uberak, but the rest of the team is still sitting in that mid lane waiting for a chance. And I guess right now, Puszek team is even saying, well, this can go on for a little bit longer because we wouldn't mind having our level 20 talents before we head into the next team fight.
Yeah, and this is the point. This is exactly the point. Roccat have been waiting so long for this 16 because when they can actually contest, second those 20s hit, they're going to be right back in their base again, just playing super defensively.
Yeah, we're seeing now also the Web Weavers again coming into play for Team Puszek. The Polish team is really starting to get some traction again. They're trying to move up to the top. They're already pushing these waves back. Actually, they're moving past them. They're going straight for the keep here. They're going to try to kill that out. With Sylvanas, I guess you can disable, of course, these structures and just look at the rotation on the minimap right now that we're seeing from their opponent moving in. This is a pretty ballsy move. I'm not quite sure if that was really necessary there. GoTerra's trying to move away, get stunned, can use the burrow charge. There it is, and they get away. Did some serious damage to the keep, but a bit of a risky move at that point.
Yep, it's pretty risky. And there's actually the fact that Roccat are running the mule, so they can actually repair all the damage that was just done. And this is actually what's been keeping them in the game, because it's repaired this mid-keep multiple times. But there is the disable onto it. Roccat coming in. There is the Starfall, trying to drive back to this keep is doomed. Strafe from Valor doing a lot of damage. And there's the water elemental straight up to Valor. Silent hits her as well with the shrink ray. She stays alive though. Chase continues. They've already taken down Jaina, trying to get as much more as they can. But the rest of Puszek able to retreat.
Yeah.
But that Roccat, first fight, they really went in their favor, but they still lose their keep.
They lose the keep, and it's also Malfurion, you know, like he negated the damage that we saw out for Vala there with Strafe. It was just really Kel'Thas chipping in as well that helped them. Now we have level 20, one of the keeps down. The boss is still up on the map, and it is so tempting right now for Puszek. Waiting for Jaina to come back and then go for boss. They're trying to turn in again. They need 70 gems at this point to get another Web Weaver release. We're seeing now Deafening Blast. We're having a Hardened Shield on the side of a Nubarak. A Blink for Jaina. The Twilight Archon for the extra damage. This is going to be big for Tazada. And also a Storm Shield for Malfurion. The 20s are there, but they lost that massive level lead that they had earlier, and it's not going to take too long for Roccat to close that gap in experience and have their own level 20 talents ready for the next fight.
Yeah, that kill really helps Roccat. They've been able to clear the waves as they were all pushed up. Sorry, pretty much all at the same time. And it's working really well for them because, like you said, they're about to hit their level 20s, and once again, they can now actually contest. They've held out long enough. KL got his level 16, and now they've been able to harass, they've been able to get some nice engagements. Socket does get knocked up there, but the heals are enough to keep him safe.
It's all about the sustain right now for Roccat. They have a double Storm Shield and also the Blinks ready. They're going straight again for an Uberak, but GoTerra's there trying to use the stun against Zokke. Doesn't get the Impale in. Hansops is still waiting for it right now, and both teams waiting for another opportunity to get a kill in there. Oh, Zokke, a bit low, but gets healed once again as he's trying to turn his 11 gems in once more to get closer to that next Web Weaver set for his team.
Yeah, and I love how Soccer is playing here, just super aggressive, super frontline, because he needs to be the target all time. And a Nubarak went a bit too aggressive there, knocks up Soccer to strafe from Valor, doing a lot, but Khaldor just getting healed so much right now. But they're trying to put him down. Shadowman may have stepped a bit too far, but no turn. And Nubarak gets knocked up, Flame Strike will land, and Soccer is on him. The shields and the heals coming out from the rest of Puszek. Wailing Arrow comes in, hits Soccer, and hits a couple other members of Roccat as well. Still no one dies. The sustain from both teams here is just too much. They're turning up the sports, but Blizzard does land. Root is on Kael'thas, and Puszek turning around, and Nubarak does not knock anyone up. Flame Strike lands on him, and we do see the Ancestral Healing from Breaker on himself. They take down a Nubarak finally, and Roccat once again getting another single kill.
It took ages to kill a Nubarak, like he was nearly dead already, and then Malfurion was starting to use his ultimate Tranquility, making that work, but the red web weavers, they are descending now, and that kill that we just saw for them, another 45 seconds on the side of the Nubarak, he's gonna be down for that long, and we have the web weavers starting to move in. These fights that we're seeing right now, it's just really so much sustain that we have for both of the teams, with all those storm shields in place, Tazadar with his shield, we're having a couple of protective shields too, and those heals too. I mean, this is really, really crazy that it took this long to take someone like a Nubarak down. Keep that hardened shield in mind as well that he used there in the last second. And at this point, it's really just the two tanks at the front line that receive the most attention. There is just nobody to jump into that back line and try to take one of the squishies out.
Yeah, it's just fights of attrition over and over again, but Roccat appear to have scaled a little better here. The fact that Puszek were ahead for so long, but weren't able to close out the game, means that Roccat have had their chance to just work their way up to these levels, and it appears to be working out for them pretty nicely. Their patience has paid off. Soccer does get rooted, does get blizzard, and he is dropped, and that is great for Puszek. They're going to chase in Silence when Garen landed on pretty much everyone. Bolt from Jada aggressively, but it's not enough to take anyone down. The retreating strafe from Valor, but we're going to have to see Roccat just leave here. The frost shots from Valor coming out so much. Bolt over the wall. Yeah, Hasselhoff there, he's going to be able to escape.
Oh, there's another flame strike, but they're trying to go in for Vala and Sport Billy. Tyrande actually tries to get away there in the last second. Once again a blizzard, but this gun could be the kill, and it is. Two heroes down, and this is the momentum that they've been waiting for. They have a keep down already, and this is the chance that they wanted. Uberim is chasing, he's chasing hard. He needs to be careful. That was a very, very aggressive move there. And they need to do something. Apparently they're trying to defend the top lane where we have a massive push against the keep. They should go for boss. They should go for boss right now.
This is basically their only opportunity. What can Kael'thas do? Throw some damage over the wall? Same with Valor. And Rhaegar's going to be able to do absolutely nothing. This is their best opportunity to get a decisive push, and this boss will help. And we're going to see the team of Roccat just throw in any damage they can, trying to get it. They could preferably stand a bit more outside of that Phoenix if they wanted this to go a bit better, but this boss definitely going over the push deck. Yeah, no way that Roccat will be able to survive that, and now they're once again in full retreat, and Jada coming in. In comes Muradin though, and they're going onto Jada. Jada being dropped low as well. Oh! Both go down, and Valor bolting away. Shadowbear heals himself, and it looks like everyone against Soccer still in the back line, just chasing everyone away.
They get the double kill against Jaina and Tacita, and the boss now finally, maybe the boss is actually able to get the keep, and I think it might be, but the problem really is that with two heroes already down, we're having Puszek team in a situation where they will not be able to capitalize too much on it, but they're trying to sneakily move down to the bot lane, and with Sylvanas to take down the keep, they just move back immediately though again, so I'm not quite sure why exactly that happened, apparently deciding that it was not worth the try. A mule again healing up the top lane, and that is of course a massive problem right now. They basically didn't do anything with the boss.
Yeah, they thought about going for the bot keep and then decided against it, thought about taking that hard camp, then decided against it. Puszek suddenly looking very indecisive, completely opposite to how they've been playing all game so far.
Now we have Chris now going straight for the next mercenary camp here. It's both of the teams trying to get just that slight advantage that will bring them in a position where they can win the game. And this late in the match, of course, the death timers are already so high that you should be able to maybe even go for core if you're able to get a team wipe, especially since that keep is already gone on the side of Roccat. They lost the mid keep to their opponents. Web Weavers, that's what they are focusing on right now. We have 43 additional gems on the side of Roccat, and they're turning them in. Once we had that one kill or those two kills against Roccat, it looked really like the Puszek team might be able to get the boss and then end the game, but losing two heroes in the process just prevented them from capitalizing properly on it, and with the mule on the side of their opponent's team, they couldn't even take another keep down.
Yeah, like you said, it's all about the fact that Roccat have basically waited this out and been so patient, and it's the Mule, the Kael'thas at level 16 and their level 20s give them so much sustain that they've just been able to wait this game out, and it's Puszek are just on the back foot now.
And Kael'thas, of course, with his 71,000 hero damage is just on another level. This is really the power of Phoenix, the power of Flame Strike after 16, and it is showing. If you look at the sustain, we have 112,000 damage taken by Anubarak. Malfurion, oh sorry, like Muradin is already pretty sick with 96,000, but still 114,000 now just shows how much damage Terror was eating up the entire game.
Yeah, both warriors just so far ahead of the rest of everyone, just with the amount that they have been absorbing healing wise. Malfurion is leading the pack with that 80,000, but it's straight to the fact he's got so much more healing than everyone else, and yet we are seeing Roccat out sustain in most of the fights.
Yeah, Roccat just has so many spell shields as, storm shields as well. It's just crazy to see how much sustain they have there. Muradin, of course, then also with his own sustain, not only the avatar, but if you are going straight for the 16 talent and hit that in as well, that really helps. Once again, Tassadar being attacked here, it's just like the poke from both sides, a bit of a levelly currently on the side of Roccat, and they are trying to siege up on the position of their opponent here. Top keep has been eliminated by Roccat, so we have both of the teams with one keep lost thus far.
This is in fact the case, and unfortunately for Roccat, these flame strikes just being thrown in over and over again, and normally this would be a situation where they just slowly start working people down, but the flame strikes are only really hitting Anubarak and the minion waves, and Anubarak has the regen master and is just tanking it all.
Yeah, Anubarak's regen master at this point, he has 62 stacks. His health regeneration is at 93, and he's moving in. Once again, he comes straight from the backline from Hazorps already, but the Blizzard is already hitting Muradin at the same time. He gets rooted once more, needs to use Avatar, goes for his stone form, is trying to move in here once again. Anubarak just doing his thing, and they're trying to force Roccat back. Roccat already in retreat. Hazorps is currently mounted, trying to see if he has to go in again with his frost shot to help his mates out. The water elemental is up at the front, and again it is the turtle. Malfurion is going straight for the tranquility. Both of the teams disengaging with no additional kill.
Yep, Jaina did use her bolt for an engage there onto Vala. Vala able to vault away from that pretty effectively. So that might have been the time for Roccat to turn around, but sliding against it, neither team wants to throw this away. They've been playing for so long and working so hard for this. Just want to try and get this out. We've hit 30 minutes in this game.
Yep, 30 minutes in the game. Very, very long game. And this is the final one between the teams here. The regeneration, by the way, the mana regeneration 5.4 on the side of Tassadar. And it's the hit point regeneration that is nearing 100 now for GoTerra, which is really just absolutely crazy. He has so much sustain thanks to that, and it really shows. I mean, you just can't kill that bug.
You can't. He's so tough. Like, you saw him basically get hit by every ability during that little chase that they had there. And the same with Muradin. Both of them just pop defensive talents and then they're almost indestructible, and that's the point of these long sustained fights. The warriors just don't die, but once they've popped all their sustain abilities, like the stone form, like the shields, then it's your chance to actually turn around and get a kill. But the teams either disengage, or that's when we actually see a couple people get picked up. Most of the time it's just disengaged because the teams are just so scared right now.
Exactly, and one of the things that GoTerra's of course got to get even more life regeneration as the game is getting longer and longer with all of those regeneration master talents coming in. It's just so cool that it has been changed by Blizzard, and that people that go into the late game can now profit from it even more than before. Here comes again Terror all the way up at the front line, being healed by Malfurion. They're going straight in for another keep in the mid lane. Already the Web Weaver's going straight for the corner of the bot lane. They're going for another keep. We have Terror and the rest of his team waiting for an opportunity. This might actually be it. This might be the chance for Puszek team to win the game. Hazorps with the strafes, trying to disengage. Muradin is jumping in with the stone form, trying to use whatever he can, but the kill against the Anubarak. The keep is down. The bot keep is also dying, but the kill against Tassadar and Anubarak, and oh my god, they're getting also maybe another kill.
They're going on to Malfurion here. We do see Vala get rooted. There's the flame strike, and that will be a dead Malfurion. We have Muradin and Rhaegar defending the base. That is 3 members down of Puszek. and now Roccat need to make something happen. But we're seeing, is that Sylvanas thinking about backdooring?
Yeah,
yes,
they want a backdoor. They have to.
They're going for the boss. Roccat not even going to go for a end here. They're going for the boss. They've been playing so passively all game, continuing the theme. Rhaegar is back in base. He sees this happening, drops his slow, and will instantly see Roccat. So going back to base. The shield is down, and they're going for the core. It's so low. Already down to 37%. Oh, Valor coming in instantly takes down Jaina, and Sylvanas trying to escape here. Rhaegar will have his totem again in a second, and there it is. There's the slow onto Sylvanas. The strafe was used. There's the slow from the frost shots, and Sylvanas goes down as well. That is currently all 5 members down, but Anubrak and Tastar will be back soon, and Soccer is soloing boss.
Soccer is up at the top trying to keep that boss there. 36% on the core. This finish, Thatcher. This is getting crazy. At first I really thought they were just trying to provoke the B back, the teleport, but they were really trying to drop the core, and because we had still 2 heroes defending, they could not make this happen. Now we could see the counter aggression up to the top lane, trying to finish it with the help of the boss. There's 3 heroes still back. We have Tassadar, Go Terror, and Malfurion, and what are they gonna do? Are they gonna try and move in and finish it? Hazop's in a little bit of trouble. Red Web Weavers are descending. Oh my god, this bot lane is gonna be pushed so hard now.
Yeah, they're going as aggressive with the cat. Soccer getting stunned up quite a bit, but the pistol healing will keep him healthy. Now he turns a bit onto Anubrak, forces him to back off. And Puszek are being very aggressive here for a team that is currently down one of their main damage dealers, Sylvanas, and once again they're turning onto Soccer, who just does not care at this point, is just tagging it all up. In comes the burst of Roccat. This could have been the mistake. They cost Puszek the game. The tranquility though, keeping Malfurion alive, and they're able to disengage again. Oh, hang on, Tassadar. No, he's fine. There is a boss on the core, though, and that's all Roccat has to do. They have to stop the bees. There is Jaina getting killed off. It is
no way.
4 versus 5, and they're just delaying it. They're stopping the ports while the boss takes down the core. Roccat just buying the time they need.
They have enough.
This is going to be GG.
The catapults are going straight for it. The mule was already healing the core of the red team, and this is game after an insane best of 3. It's the Polish team that loses. Roccat victorious with a 2-1 against Puszek team and advancing now to the next round of the qualifier.
Oh, pretty sick game that we saw there. That game was so long and drawn out, both of the teams showing so much respect for each other and really just standing there, not really wanting to go into engagement. That poke that we had from both sides and just these constant disengages without even losing heroes in the fights. Especially like when we had Regeneration Master for Anubrak healing more than 100 hit points per second. That was pretty crazy. You could really see him going in, eating a lot of the damage and then moving back out of the match again. The entire time, that was just insane, and in the end there is a victory for Roccat. They take it with a 2-1, but that was definitely not an easy one, not at all. Puszek team a couple of times had the opportunity to take the game, I feel, and they pressured Roccat a lot. But at the end of the day, it is Roccat. They take the series and they advance now to the mini-final of our qualifier here. And guys, I hope that you enjoyed the series. It was pretty cool to see that. Of course, once again, we had with the new meta and the new builds on a few of the heroes a couple of changes. Very enjoyable, I feel. Can't wait for the Butcher to actually be allowed in tournaments, which should happen within the next few days. But yeah, if you liked the series, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. Drop a comment in the comment section. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you should definitely hit that sub button. I'm going to see you guys soon with more Heroes of the Storm, so have a great day. Bye-bye.